What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'll talk about some key levels to watch and why the market is squeezing right now. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below or use my QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia. Deposits $10,000 to get $300 worth of the stock, or deposits $50,000 to get $1,000 of free Nvidia. You're also going to qualify for a 3.6% APY base rate plus a 4.5% APY extra for 3 months, making it a total of an 8.1% APY. The offer ends very soon, so please check out my link down below to sign up. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the markets. So, looking at SPY, in my video from yesterday, I was talking about the possibility of an inverse head and shoulders that was forming for us to get a breakout. And I said that if SPY could hold above 668, expect 672. Now, if we hold above 672, we're looking for an attempt for 676 and eventually closer to 680 after that, as the market is looking quite strong. The QQQ is also breaking past 612. If this holds, we're looking for an attempt for 615, then 617, and the whole market is pumping as a result of Nvidia's earnings. Nvidia is currently up 5%, and also after the jobs report that came out, we're still holding up quite nicely. So let's break down the news, and I'll talk about what's going to likely happen to the charts. First and foremost, Nvidia ended up crushing earnings. I went over this in more detail yesterday. They beat revenue with over $57 billion for the third quarter, and they're expecting their sales to rise to about $65 billion. They also beat EPS, saw a big increase in their net income, and once again, we heard Jensen Huang go on about how their chips have insane demand. They're selling out of their GPUs like crazy, and the AI bubble is something different. They see something very different relative to what other people are seeing. Also, they are a very, very important provider for Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Tesla. The list goes on. So that's something very important. And because they smash earnings, have strong guidance as usual, Nvidia is up again. Walmart also had earnings. They beat on EPS and revenue, and they raised their outlook for the second straight quarter. That's bullish news for Walmart. That's another earnings that just came out. And finally, when it comes to the Fed is not sure if we're going to be getting a cut in December. We're still watching to see how the Fed's going to react to more data, and we'll be waiting to see how it ends up going. Jerome Powell has said that in the past, and now we're seeing a lot of the Fed saying that from the FOMC minutes yesterday. When it comes to the jobs numbers, just keep a reminder that the October employment report has been canceled and the November report will come out late. It's going to be coming out instead on December 16th instead of the 5th. So it's delayed according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So that's the next major data coming out. Today, we just got the unemployment rate and such. Non-farm payrolls were basically at 119,000. That's above expectations. The unemployment rate was at 4.4%. That's also above expectations, but this is old data from September. Initial jobless claims and everything is basically kind of like flat. However, the labor force participation rates as expected. Everything else is pretty much very close to expectations, except payrolls are once again going up. When it comes to the Philly Fed data, employment's kind of flat. New orders are a little bit down, and that's pretty much it. Later on today, we have Hammock from the Fed giving a speech. We have Cook giving a speech, and then that's pretty much it. There's not really much else coming out for the day. But with all this data coming out, SPY is actually still holding up. The market still holds up. We're holding up very nicely as a result of Nvidia's earnings. There's not really much else coming up for earnings for the day, so that's pretty much it. Let's focus on the charts now. So we're going to start off with SPY, and I'll talk about Nvidia later. SPY is looking very strong, but we already squeezed so much, so I want to see if we could hold above 672. If we could hold 672 for at least 4 hours, I do expect us to test 676, 678, and then 680. If we hold 672. If we reject and we can't hold 672 after 4 hours, then we could reject and return to 668 and then 665. So watch 672. If it holds, I think we easily push closer to 670 6, and then after that we're looking for a move closer to 680. As of right now, we look more bullish and we're favoring upside. SPY is favoring, it wants to go to 676, then closer to 680. I think we look quite strong. The 4-hour looks good. The daily is looking decent. We're going to see a massive gap when we open, and the 4-hour looks more bullish. The triple Q looks more bullish for now. If we're bearish, you want to see us basically lose 606. If that fails us, we turn back down. As of right now, we're looking at resistance near 615. I think as long as 612 holds, we're looking for 615, and then 617 is our targets on the QQQ. Could even go a little bit higher for these targets over here, which is where this consolidation zone is close to 620. For now, I'm going to be taking it one step at a time. As long as 612 holds on the triple Q, I'm favoring 615 and 617 for some more upside. And then we're going to see if we reject or not. But overall, there's upside potential. As long as we don't end up losing like 606, we look more bullish. On the IWM, we look more bullish. If we end up losing basically 235, we're looking for a dump. But as long as this holds, we're looking for an attempt for 239 and eventually 240. Then we're going to see if we reject or not. But overall, I would argue that we look more bullish and that Russell is looking for an attempt to retest 238 to 240. On ES, we have like an inverse head and shoulders like pattern. We're going to be favoring basically 6,800 as our potential target. If we're bearish, we're going to be looking for a move back down to 6,750. If that fails us, we're looking for 6,715 and then right down below. In my opinion, I think that we're favoring 6,800 at least for a little bit more upside. And then we're going to see if we turn down to form kind of like a left shoulder, head and right shoulder for an inverse head and shoulders before this blasts off to new all-time highs. But overall, I do anticipate more upside. I think we could push to the 6,800s. NQ is at resistance right here around 25,236. It could be going a little bit higher. Could be looking for an attempt for like 25,400 or so. And then we're going to see if it turns or not. If it does turn, this could just be another sign that's forming a left shoulder, head and right shoulder for an inverse head and shoulders. We'll see about that, but overall we're bullish. Bitcoin pumped. It needs to hold above 92,000. If it doesn't, it could be dipping to 89,000. Tesla's holding up decently. I need to see us hold above this trend line, though. We're testing this trend line acting as resistance. If we could hold and break above this, we're looking for 420. But if we can't hold above this trend line, we could pivot and return back down to fill the gap, taking us back down towards the low 400s. So I want to see us hold this to continue this push towards 420. On Nvda, we're technically looking more bullish. If Nvidia cannot hold above 200, it could cool off a little bit and retest 192. But if we break 200, we remain more bullish. I do think we're going to try to go a little higher for like 198 to 200, and we'll see if we reject on Nvidia or not, just temporarily. But ultimately, I do think in a couple of weeks we will be filling the gap back up to 206 and breaking all-time highs. We're going to see if we could kind of like push from here to that 198 to 200 area. We're going to see if this breaks. If it doesn't, we could turn down first before we try to bounce. Excuse me. For Appl, looks more bullish. So long as we don't lose 269, we're going to be favoring 272. Palantir looks decent. I need to see us hold 172. If we do, we're looking for 175 to 177. AMD is looking decent. We're range bound between 220 support and 236 is our resistance. Might dip towards 228, and we'll see if we bounce though. Coinbase is in the middle. Nice inverse head and shoulders. We're going to see if we break 271 or not. Might dip a little bit back down to 258, and hopefully we could bounce back up to like the 270 area. On Amazon, we could be looking for an attempt for like 230, and we'll see if it breaks or not. There's also a gap to fill up here. So 230 to 232 is likely going to be tested. Meta needs to try to hold above 602. If it holds, we're going to be looking for 608. But if we end up losing 596, we're going to be looking for a dip. But as of right now, we're favoring more upside. Google, to me, looks more bullish. We're going to be favoring an attempt to push back up towards 305 and then 308. I think there's upside potential. And then Microsoft has an inverse head and shoulders. We have a left shoulder, head and right shoulder. This could kind of like bounce and look for an attempt for 497 to 500. Last but not least, the VIX is dipping. It has a massive gap down, could continue to fall. And I would not be surprised if this falls to like closer to the 18s now, as the market is looking bullish, at least temporarily. For now, if we could hold above 672, I do think SPY continues for 676 and 678. But if 672 fails, we could retrace back down to like 668. So we'll see if that holds. So far, we do look more bullish. I want to see the QQQ hold above 612. If it does, we're looking for like 615, 617. If 612 fails, still there is once again support at 606. So we'll see how well we hold up. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please watch your levels very closely. Know that for now, the market favors upside, and watch your levels just to be safe. And I think overall, we're doing a great job at holding up, and the bulls have a bigger edge. Thanks for listening again, and peace out.